Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be going over the 6 books that I read in between February and March. So we quite literally only read 1 book in February, which is why we didn't have a February wrap up. And then we turned around and we read 5 in March. I do still find myself in a slump and it really sucks, but nonetheless, we're just going to talk about these books. So I started a very anticipated series within February, and that is going to be the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. And then I continued it on in March. We're just going to talk about these at the same time because I can't give you too much to go on. You know, I'm going to give you the basis of the story, but I do not want to spoil anything by any means. So we're going to keep these quite simple. So I actually gave both of these books 4 stars. I love them so much. I was honestly so nervous going into this just because I don't know, fantasy like a lot of times just makes me really nervous. I don't know why, because I usually end up loving them, but this series is very intimidating to me, especially the further you get into it. So I was very scared to pick these up, but I was pleasantly surprised. Okay, so a little controversial thing is the reading order with these books. Being as I've only read the first 2 so far, guys, I could not have had it any other way. Like, I cannot imagine if I wouldn't have read The Assassin's Blade first, because it gives you so much more intel into Throne of Glass. And I feel if I wouldn't have read this first and I would have just jumped straight into Throne of Glass, there are feelings that I wouldn't have felt in certain situations within this book because I wouldn't have known any better. And that honestly like breaks my heart to even think about it, because I wouldn't have wanted it to be that way. If you can understand what I'm saying, like I know a lot of people suggest the other reading order, but I don't, okay? And I've only read the first 2 books, but if you've read them, you understand why I would say that. If you haven't, just trust me, girl, okay? I know 1,000 people say 1,000 different things, but this is truly like the best way to do it, in my opinion. So within these books, we follow Celaena Sardithian, and she is an assassin, okay? She is quite literally one of the best. She's very sought after. She is high ranked within her assassins group, or whatever you want to call it, okay? And let me be quite frank, she's a badass. Like, I cannot explain how much I love this female character, because Sarah J. Maas, she just gives so much strength to her female characters, and that's something I really adore because we love a badass, okay? So the emotional depth that these books pack in is literally insane. I cried, I screamed, I felt so many things just within the first 2 books, even in the world building and getting to know these characters and being introduced to everybody and being introduced to certain situations. All of it. I was literally there for every second of it. I know a lot of people have different opinions on this one, strictly because you're hopping around a bit, okay? You're not in one strict storyline. Things are kind of changing. Like, I don't really know how to explain it, but like, it's a bunch of novellas, okay? It's not just one solid book. It's a bunch of novellas kind of pushed together, and you go over a period of time and just see all these different people, learn a lot about your main character, Celaena, and I just really enjoyed it. I feel like it gave me the most good head start. We're gonna go with that. So I just found that aspect of this book really fun, how we just jumped through different periods, met a lot of different people, and really got a good basis of where we were going within this world. And then the follow-up, Throne of Glass, literally so freaking good, okay? I'm not going to lie, I fell in love with quite a few characters within this book. And then something that shocked me, I don't know why, but I wasn't expecting the certain elements that she brought into this book. I don't really know what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting much because I have been so utterly blessed to not have any spoilers for these books. I know, it's literally like I'm thankful every day, okay? I don't know how it's happened, but I have gotten by almost 3 years in Bookstagram with no spoilers, and I'm very happy about that. So I've literally not known what to expect the whole time. And when that one element per se came in, I was just like literally gasping because I was so hooked. It made me want to read even more. It made me more curious about what was going on. Where were these things stemming from? And I just thought like these 2 books were really good fantasy reads, especially for like if you're trying to start and get into fantasy. It felt very simple in my opinion, very laid out, very spelled out. And it was just perfect, okay? So I really love these, and I cannot wait to continue the series, which I plan on doing very soon, because I love these characters, and the way it left off, I literally need to know what's going to happen. We followed that up by reading First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. I found the Walmart exclusive. I ended up giving this book 4 stars as well. I just found it so freaking cute. There were some aspects of it that I wasn't a fan of, but they didn't overpower the aspects that I freaking loved. I was so sad for this book. It's ridiculous. So the concept you have going on with this book is we follow a single mother and her daughter, literally the cutest 2 people ever, okay? And the family dynamic within this book is absolutely to die for. Like, it's just such a well done family structure. Not gonna go too into it because I don't want to give anything away, okay? But one night, she lays her daughter to bed. She thinks she's sleeping, and then she hears noises, so she goes and investigates. Turns out her daughter is on the phone with a radio station that's all about like helping people find love, and she's just spilling the beans on the fact that her mother does not have a love life, okay? And at first she's very embarrassed by this, but she ends up speaking to the guy that's running the radio station, and just something happens there, you know? And for days she's thinking about like, okay, I thought I was living this great life. I thought I was content in what I had. And then she's kind of questioning it. Like, am I missing out on love? Am I missing out on certain things because I'm so closed off from it? And so things start to happen, sparks start to fly, and I just love this book so much. So people become so enraptured in her story and wanting this woman to find love that they kind of like push for her to become part of this radio station, make the goal to find Lucy, her lovebird, okay? So when she comes on, behind the scenes, things are starting to get hot and heavy, okay? Like, she's making googly eyes at him, he's making googly eyes at her, and now she just has to decide, do I continue to pursue people through the radio trying to find my love, or do I like this man sitting literally right next to me? Okay, it was just so beautifully written. I love the scenes. I love the way they were with each other because it was like a friends to lovers. Okay, at first it was kind of awkward and weird, but the way Aiden fell for her so quickly, like the day he saw her, he was like, she is cute. And I love them so much. Her daughter also was just like such a star character for me, and just the friendships, the family dynamic, the plot, the way it was written, everything about this book was absolutely perfect, and I really loved it. If it wasn't for a certain part of it, I probably would have given it 5 stars, but I just didn't feel that last like, you know what I'm saying? So I did give her 4 stars, but I would recommend this one so, so highly. This is literally my second copy because I have the hardcover like basic copy, and then I got this one too because I love having multiples of the books that I love. And then we followed that book up by reading The Paris Apartment. And can we just stop? Because this has been on my TBR for like 2 years. So can we just applaud me real quick? Thank you, thank you, thank you. The basis of this book is this girl is like in trouble, okay? So she's going to stay with her step-brother, it's half-brother, okay? So she's going to stay with him in Paris, and she shows up at this apartment, and there's like 5 different people living within this building, if I'm not mistaken, and things are just super weird, okay? She starts to question literally anybody, everybody. If you're there, you're a suspect because things have just gone horribly, horribly wrong, and she has to figure out what's happened to her brother, what is going on within this building. Like, everybody was so weird. I cannot stress that enough. I'm not going to lie. Starting out, I was really bored and just like not really feeling it, but the deeper and the deeper I got, the more questions I had, the more things that were being uncovered, and just the more drama that was happening. And I will say, like, what ended up being the case in this book, are you freaking joking? I was thrown for a freaking loop. I couldn't have guessed it. 100% could not have seen what was coming. But I don't know, I just have conflicting feelings about it, and that's kind of why I gave it 3 stars, because I did enjoy it, but at times I felt myself like just sitting there like, okay, like, can we actually get to the point? So did I feel it was a little drug out? Yes, I'm gonna be completely honest. I felt like it was dragging its feet for a minute there, but once we got into the nitty-gritty details and uncovering the real facts of the story, what happened, what's going to happen, I was shell-shocked, guys. It was written well, okay? A third person, I don't like third person. I don't think that's an unpopular opinion either. I feel a lot of people do not like third person. But for it being third person and being drug out, I still gave it that 3 stars just because I feel like she tied everything together in the end very well, and I love when a thriller book can do that. So yes, 3 stars. It was good, but not a favorite, you know? So we followed that book up with Wild Love by Elsie Silver. I gave this book 4.5 stars because I absolutely freaking loved it. I'm aware that I talk about meet cutes like a lot, okay? And I'm always swooning over how these characters initially meet, but I feel like that's very important for the foundation it kind of lays for the relationship, friendship, enemyship, whatever you want to call it. and their meeting. I swear to God, guys, I was literally like laughing my butt off, but at the same time, like swooning. It was so freaking cute. And I feel like it really pushed these two together quite quickly because of the circumstance and what was going on. And it made me fall in love with him just that much faster because of his protectiveness and just like him. So within this book, you have Skylar and Weston. Weston Belmont, he's a ranchy boy, okay? And he's a single dad. He has these two freaking amazing kids. I love them so much. They were so freaking cute. And also within this book, family dynamic. It's all about that. I just feel like a good family dynamic will really set the scene of a book and just make you fall that much harder because you feel like you fell into it with them, you know? And I felt like she did a really well job with that, which, let's be honest, she always does. Like, I feel like the family aspect is her scene. She kills it every time, and that was definitely the situation with this book. So Skylar has arrived in town to kind of like take a breather from her famous life, okay? She is a huge country artist and people just absolutely love her until something happens and like she's the laughing stock of the scene all of a sudden, and she is dealing with a lot of crazy stuff behind the scenes. Like, she is not being treated too well or anything like that, so her mental health is just like deteriorating, okay? It's getting really bad. So she's like, I just need a breather, I need a break, I need to be alone. So she escapes to this town and Weston is there, and like that's literally the first face she sees when she gets there because of the meet cute. You'll know if you read it. So I just love these two so much. I fell in love with them so quickly, and just the way that she perfectly fit into their life was adorable. The way the kids took to her so quickly was adorable, and I just felt like it was written so well. Elsie is just so good at giving her characters so much depth, and it just makes you feel that much more connected to them. And also just being on her ranches or her farms or whatever you want to call it, it's just so healing. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Something about her books like truly heals something inside of me, and this book had done just that. I loved it so much. Like I said, 4.5 stars. I'm actually eyeing the crap out of the next one because I just want to get back. I just cannot wait to continue the series. I am so excited because her characters, like, I love her. Okay, so we're gonna move on. And we ended the month out on a great freaking note because we read Rebel Witch, and I gave this book 5 golden stars because something about this author that is very important to me is she does not waste a second of your time. She goes in friggin' swinging. So from the second we start this book, we literally have utter chaos, okay? Things are going down. It is very tense within this book, and I was just there for every minute of it. Now let's be 100% honest with each other. Do Rune and Gideon give me absolute whiplash? 100%. Okay, absolutely, no doubt. But I literally don't care because they're just that lovable, and you just want to know where their story's gonna go. And that's the crazy thing about it, is throughout this entire book, you're not going to know because it's like con after con after con. You don't know what's real, you don't know what's fake, you don't know what's about to happen. And I honestly could not have predicted this book. I just adore the way this author crafted this story. I just feel like every single situation was executed perfectly. It kept me wanting more. And when I tell you, I was absolutely devastated when I found out this was a duology. I don't know why I thought this was a series. I thought there were going to be more books, at least one more, especially within the last 50 pages, because you're going to get to the last 50 pages and you're gonna be like, girl, how are you about to wrap this up without another book? And the way that she did it, I remember sitting in my car reading it, and we get to a certain scene towards the end of the book, something dramatic happens, okay? Like, I was literally like in my car screaming, gasping. My coworker next to me was looking at me like, are you good? No, I was not, okay? Because it literally got so crazy, but the way she brought this into this and made it this. So yeah, I mean, obviously, if you cannot tell, I freaking love this book. Obviously, like I said, 5 stars. I think I also gave the first one 5 stars, which is saying a lot, okay? Like, this has to be one of my favorite fantasies I've read because, one, Rune and Gideon, I love them so much. I love the plot of the story. I love the way it was executed. And in the end, it made it all that much better because I was already giving her 5 stars. But then she pulled what she pulled, and I was just like, okay, queen. So let me kind of give you the basis of the story. I went on a tangent about how much I love it, but Rune Winters is a witch, okay? And in this society, witches are not allowed, okay? Like, if you're a witch, you've got to die, which is very unfortunate for them, especially when Gideon is a witch hunter and they kind of start to court each other because he's suspicious of her. She doesn't want him to be suspicious of her, so she's trying to like get her way in, you know, kind of throw off the scent. And you know, what happens when you start fake courting each other? Like, come on, dude. I just started Bridgerton, made me think of that. you know where it's going to end. Like, I don't know why y'all play this game when you know how it's going to end. But I truly also believe this is a great fantasy to start off with, even better than Throne of Glass, honestly. It's so easy to read, especially because you're not going to want to put it down, because like I said, she starts off on a running foot and does not stop until the very end of the book. I mean, I was 100% pleased with this book. Once it ended though, I was just like, it's one of those books you just stop and you stare at the wall, because I'm like, what am I supposed to do now that that's over? I can never read it for the first time again. Where am I going to get more Rune and Gideon? Like, how can this be over? It was amazing. I cannot say 5 stars more than enough times. I can't explain how much I love this book more. It was so freaking perfect. I would recommend it to everybody, especially, like I said, a first-time fantasy reader. It's just so perfect, written so beautifully, and like one of my favorite fantasy love stories, truly. So that is going to be what we read in February and March. And no, we didn't do excessive in quantity, but in quality. Like, girl, when I tell you so many of these books were so good, something I will be thinking about for a long time to come. I'm not saying it lightly, okay? So if you have not read any of these books, girl, I would highly suggest it. Specifically this one, anything Elsie Silver, like, be so for real. I love her to death. So that's gonna be all of the books we read and all of my thoughts. So like always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really hope that if these weren't on your TBR before, they are now. And I hope that if they were on your TBR before, you're kind of like scooting them up, okay? Because they're really freaking good. Let me know, have you read them? Are they on your TBR? Tell me all the things in the comments. I love talking to you guys. It's so fun for me. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you did like this video. I will see you guys next week with a new video. I hope you have amazing weeks, read amazing books, and I love you.